place to go. Let it snow, let it snow.
Hey everyone, it's Katie and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new, so you can subscribe. The button is always down below. Post video, lifestyle, panning, and more. And welcome to Vlogmas Day 6. Yay, we're doing it. That's how I feel every day, that I keep going with my Vlogmas. I don't not post and I'm thriving. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm thriving. I feel like I'm just proud of myself. We're doing it. Anyways, so besides the point, today I'm going to be doing a tag video. This is the new makeup releases, the tag video. This was, I believe, created by both Angelica, I don't know how to say her last name, but and Samantha March. I believe this is like a collab that they always join in on, or at least try to. And yeah, I'm gonna link both their videos and channels down below. I watched Samantha's video the other day and I really enjoyed it. Like, I was like, yes, living. And I feel like her and I have like a lot of the same opinions on the makeup releases. So this is like talking about all the makeup releases for 2021 and just like I don't know, like there's different questions that go along with it. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first question is, what mainstream release lived up to the hype this year? So for me, I feel like this year I wasn't excited about that many releases, but this is one I was so excited for. So one that lived up to the hype is the Lizzie McGuire What Dreams Are Made Of palette. I was very much a Lizzie McGuire fan as a kid. So when I saw this, I had to get it. I absolutely love this palette. This is what it looks like. There's a lot of purples, pinks, even like golden shades, and then of course you have your pops of green. And I just was so excited about this palette when it launched. I love the packaging, I love everything about it. Like, even the texture of the palette is just so nice. And when this launched, I was so excited. Like, I literally bought it on launch day, set alarms. I was so excited, and this just hits for me. Like, this palette is honestly one of probably the best palettes I have tried this year. And it just lived up to the hype. It lived up to my expectations, and just everything about this palette just speaks like the 90s, early 2000s. And yeah, I love it. So number 2 is, what indie release lived up to the hype most this year? So there have definitely been a lot of good like indie brand releases, but I have definitely lacked in like trying indie brands. Like, I definitely have tried a lot of single shadows. Like, I've literally, within the end of 2020, early 2021, I have been able to try Terra Moons, Sydney Grace, Divina. I've bought things from all those brands. I actually have a new indie brand I'm trying also, which I'm really excited about. And of course I have things from like, I think I have like a palette from Elamar that I got like in 2020, I believe, that I was really into. And my main goal is my main thing is, I've definitely seen launches. Like, Divina's have come out in new collections, which I think are really beautiful. But I have lacked in trying indie brands, and I'm kind of ashamed to say it, but I've definitely seen like a lot of like beautiful like releases and just awesome releases from indie brands. And my goal for 2022 is going to be to try more. So if you guys have any like top indie brands that you think I definitely 100% have to try, like, I've also, one of them ones I guess I could mention that I did try recently is Tower 28. I have one of their glosses which I really enjoy, and I definitely want to try more indie brands. So if you do have any like indie brand suggestions, let me know down below and I will add it to my list. But yeah, definitely 2022, gonna branch out more and try more indie brands, and that's gonna be a thing. So number 3 is, which releases did not live up to the hype? So I know Samantha mentioned this in her video, but these like 5-pan mini palettes from ColourPop, these like pressed palettes, I have the Amore and the Lyric palette. These honestly didn't live up to the hype. They just didn't. I was so excited when these launched. I believe these were also one of the things that I bought when they came out and stuff. Like these were just like I remember buying these when they first launched and stuff, and I was so excited for them. I thought they were just gorgeous. I might have seen review videos and stuff. I have no idea. But I have this like purple toned one that I was obsessed with. And then I have this more, I guess, not neutral one in Lyric. And these just didn't live up to hype. I just feel like these shadows aren't like top ColourPop quality or even top quality in general. I also don't love that they put pressed glitters in their palettes. I will still use them, but I'm more leery about it and stuff. So I don't love that. I would have rather just wanted a really metallic shade than having a pressed glitter in this palette, because they aren't necessarily eye safe, which I don't like, and they're just very messy in general. And I mean, I like the colors, and I think the mattes are like they're good. I'm wearing one of them actually on my outer corner today. I'm wearing Verse, and it's very pigmented and nice, but definitely not my favorite. But you know, they're not terrible, but they're just like okay, which is I think what Samantha said in her video. They're just okay, but I definitely want to like work on these like in some capacity, like maybe pan them or something like that soon, but they're just not like, they didn't hit as well as I would have hoped they would. So number 4 is, what was the biggest curveball this year? I feel like there were quite a few, I guess, makeup curveballs. I feel like Samantha did, like I said, her and I have had a lot of the same opinions and stuff. Like when I was reviewing the questions before watching her video, I was like, okay. And then I watched her video and I was just like, okay, we had the same thoughts. But Becca closing down was kind of surprising, just because they seem to be like on the top and they seem to be thriving. But I've obviously like 2020 pandemic, lots of brands shut down. Clarisonic shut down. Becca, of course, shut down in, I believe, September of 2021. Lots of brands did not survive after the year we had. So it's not really surprising, but like they seemed like a brand that was well loved, that people kept going back for. I feel like they had a lot of iconic like releases, products. I did notice they weren't releasing as much within the last couple of years. And I feel like they are seen as kind of more of the like everyday consumer brand, and they weren't making like I don't know, they are more like neutral, natural is how I view it. So it kind of makes sense in a sense, because it's not like they're releasing like these trendy things. Like definitely they're well loved, well perceived, but you know, stuff like this happens, and after that year, not everyone can survive, I guess is how you can look at it. But it is definitely sad, but it is cool, and it definitely is another curveball that Smashbox is like taking over Becca's like most popular products. And I honestly was very like happy about that, because like you can still get their highlighters, you can still get this and that from them, which as an everyday consumer is great, because if you have those like go-to products that you like legit only like theirs, you can still get them and stuff. But it's very interesting and stuff. But yeah, that's like the one thing I can think of when I think of like a curve ball. But yeah, so number 5 is, what was the biggest letdown snooze fest of the year? So I feel like Tarte's releases over the last couple of years have been nothing special. Like I used to love Tarte, and I used to always look forward to seeing like what they would launch or what they would have. But honestly, their releases the last couple of years have been so repetitive. And especially this year, I felt like I didn't really, like there were no good releases. And I think that one palette they released, the So Juicy, was good. My mom owns that, so every once in a while I'll dip into it. That's how it works. But other than that, I feel like they're very repetitive. Also, ColourPop's Powder Puff collection I found to be a major disappointment. That was like such an iconic thing of my childhood. Like Powder Puff Girls, Lizzie McGuire. I think those are probably the most iconic things of my childhood growing up in the 2000s and stuff like that. I think that was just iconic. And that collection like didn't really scream anything to me. Like it was honestly just like I just didn't love it. And I just don't think they really nailed it with that. And then also Urban Decay's Cyber Palette. I talked about this in yesterday's will I buy it, buy or buy video. That palette just doesn't make sense to me. Like that palette was very much so boring. The color story didn't make sense. And I felt like they just really created a dud with that palette. So those were definitely more of the boring releases of the year. So number 6 is what was the best holiday release this year? So in my opinion, the ColourPop Rudolph collection was a hit. I have not purchased that, but I've mentioned like I don't really want to pay full price. Like when it goes on sale, if it goes on sale, I'll buy it, but it's not like something I need. But like the palette, collectors wise, I kind of want it. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's just one of those things where I'm like, I kind of want it. But that one, it was definitely a hit. And then just like beauty in the beauty rounds, I think the Lights Lacquer Sugar Shop collection was also a hit. I don't love all the shades, but I think 4 out of the 6 shades they launched was definitely a hit. Honestly, for me, I don't think there were many holiday releases this holiday season that were a 100% hit. There were definitely those few, but honestly, I was very underwhelmed by like gift sets, holiday collections, that kind of stuff. Like I just didn't really see like a lot that I thought were like amazing, I guess. So number 7 is what was the best collab of 2021? So I have 2. Again, the ColourPop and Lizzie McGuire palette. That was probably ColourPop's best collaboration this past year. In my opinion, I think that was their like top best like collaboration. It was honestly my favorite collaboration for ColourPop, and I just think it was one that hit the most. And then also the Michaela Glam Light palette. My palette is across the room, of course, but that I'll post pictures of it on the screen because I just don't feel like going over there and grabbing it. But that was also a hit in my opinion. Like that palette was so like I really like that palette. I really like the shimmers in it. And it's just such a good palette. I actually mixed it and we love that. Love the eyes and stuff. But that was definitely another like hit in my opinion this past year. And it's definitely one I will remember when I think of 2021. So number 8 so the last question in number 8 is what are your predictions for releases during the next year? I definitely think they're going to continue with the more iconic releases with lots of brands. Like honestly, there have been so many like just 90s 2000s TV shows that have had their collabs, and I think they're gonna continue. Although, and of course, like I mentioned, some have been hits, some have not, but I think they're gonna go more with like I think there's going to be lots of nostalgia. They're going to, I think that's been like a thing right now where they're getting nostalgia and makeup and just like making something beautiful out of it and just creating something out of that. I also think, cream products have been such a trend this year. Like you pretty much hear lots of people talking about cream products, and I think that's going to continue to be a trend. Other than that, I'm not really sure. I know like I definitely am just intrigued to see like what trends continue throughout the next year, what comes in, what comes out. I'm definitely intrigued. But yeah, this is super fun to film. I love talking about like just makeup releases and that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you tomorrow for day 8 of Vlogmas. Bye.